Alright guys, TouchCrabbit here. Hopefully you had a fantastic new year. 2019 has begun, and as you're watching this, I'm probably just about landing back in the UK from my holiday in Poland. So today I wanted to go through a search and destroy because hopefully I haven't missed too many massive news stories over the last couple of days, but I'll definitely cover them in the next few days if there have been some interesting ones. And I've done a gameplay breakdown on the Hardpoint from later in this series, and I also did one a few days ago on 100 Thieves versus Team Sween, that control map. So I thought it would make sense to do a search and destroy today. So that's what I'm going to do. This is OpTic versus Splyce. This is one of the most memorable ones that I thought of. It goes all the way to round 11, and there's a lot of real things that you can probably take away from this one. I'd be interested to know why you guys enjoy this series, if you do. Whether you're interested to find out exactly what the pros do, whether you're trying to find some things to improve your own game. I'm kind of intrigued. So maybe leave some comments on that vein in the comments below. But anyway, today we're going to go through this map. So let's just crack right on with it. Like if you enjoy, subscribe. If you're new and you think I've heard it, all that good stuff as always. And yeah, let's get right into it. So in this first round, you'll see Splyce's defensive setup. Their standard one they employ in middle here on frequency. So, of course, I'll just pause to explain the context for a second. Splyce won map 1 on Hacienda 250 to like 88. OpTic really need to win this map to try and get back into the series. So let's see exactly what happens. This is a nice play out of Splyce, I think. So you can see you have Accuracy and Aqua here going to that left-hand side. Jerd jumps down below, as does Temp. And the gunfights are initially all won by the side of Splyce. You can see how Karma gets killed by Accuracy as well. And this down-low setup here is just fantastic out of the side of Splyce. So we'll have a look more at that in a second when we have a look at the final kill cam here. And Dashy's left in no man's land. I like this play from Splyce as well, just to have 4 guys down low. Literally no chance Dashy wins this. He manages to win a gunfight on Jerd somehow, but it's very quickly traded out. And what we'll see in this final kill cam here is how Accuracy and Aqua go to the left side, and it really isolates Dashy in the window. They don't send anyone to try and challenge him up in that window, so he's basically left there all alone, and his teammates are left out to dry, as you see in the kill cam here. So the defense get to this position first, which really helps them and is something you should definitely take advantage of on your defensive sides. And Karma tries to sneak through A. He gets shut down by Accuracy as well, and Dashy's left all alone. He doesn't even have a gunfight to take in that scenario. So anyway, this second round you'll see OpTic employ a kind of similar idea. They play an A retake setup, and this is what you'll see a lot on the defense out of the side of OpTic Gaming. So Splyce run over towards this A side, and you'll see how OpTic have this player number 3 in Dashy. He's just shoulder peeking over towards A. He's going to get this information, he's going to back up, and then we'll see what happens from there. So he sees all the guys, and now it sets off a chain reaction on the side of OpTic Gaming. Once this bomb goes down, you see player number 5, that's going to be Karma on your minimap. He's going to initiate a flank maneuver. And this is one thing about planting A here. Look at those 5 guys on Splyce. They're all in this vicinity, and they've got to try and hold everything. TJ wins the first gunfight on Accuracy, and it's super hard to hold this on Splyce. You need to be way more aggressive with getting some map control than they were. They were just holding around waiting to see what would happen here, and they're going to get pinched from all directions in just a second, so TJ wins this gunfight, the guys push into the room, Scump manages to take down 2, and Crim wins this gunfight on Aqua. You could see that Karma was already there on the flank, and they had to pinch from all 3 different directions. Really difficult on the defensive side, or the side that's planted the bomb at A, to do anything unless you try and take map control quickly. Okay, so round number 3, we're going to see some flaws in the offensive setup of OpTic Gaming here, especially in terms of how they watch the flank. So you have Dashy coming over to this B side, trying to get a pick with a sniper. He manages to miss it. Look at Crim6 right here. That's number 4 in the window. He's going to back up, and you see the play out of Splyce. Number 7, that's going to be Temp, pushes through A. Jerd gets taken down in mid, but they do attempt to trade him out over there. Look at this play from Crim6 here. Crim backs up over towards A as if to watch the flank through A, but you know, the timings are definitely not on his side here, and you'll see this again in a couple of rounds later where he ends up getting bailed out, but in this round they don't get bailed out at all. Temp number 7 on your minimap manages to sneak right through. Crim6 gets the timing all wrong here. You know, he goes to watch A, but the guy's already snuck through, and they have no idea Temp's managed to get through this part of the map. He ends up shooting Dashy right in the back here. And that pretty much wins the round for them on the spot. Well, not entirely, but now it's a 4 versus 3. And you see that OpTic decide, okay, let's rotate this bomb over towards A, because that's where Crim6 ends up now. So I definitely think Crim should probably play that a little bit smarter in terms of watching the flank. If he were to back up a little bit further to his spawn, I think they'd have maybe had more success, and letting Temp through the flank there definitely wasn't the idea. And okay, TJ's now back in their spawn, he's cutting off all the rotations, but this A retake is definitely too easy. You'll see it quite a lot of the times in this game that retake an A is definitely the way to go in terms of playing the defensive setup on this map, and super hard for OpTic to do anything there and hold on to that. They end up defusing the bomb and going up 2-1. So this round you'll see OpTic's really nice mid setup that they go for on the defense. So Splyce are playing a pretty slow round over towards B, having some guys mid, and you'll see how OpTic exactly set this up. They have some guys down on the underground, and Dashy's holding this angle, and you hear these guys of Splyce, they try and push up through middle. Similar situation to what the first round was, and Crim's going to win these gunfights, and Scump and TJ have there's no chance they're going to be taken out in this down low position. They end up going towards B, do Splyce, and TJ and Scump trade out the kills lower mid, and Jerd ends up falling off the map here after accuracy gets taken out. So a really nice setup from OpTic there. They kind of adapt a little bit to what Splyce did to them in the first round. They have Crim 6 in that position with the assault rifle, and then TJ and Scump down low on that underground scenario. There's no chance you're beating these guys with the two Sorgs in hand. They can easily deal with any push towards B, and yeah, as you can see right here, TJ manages to take down accuracy trying to sneak down below. There's no chance you're winning that gunfight with the ICR. So a nice defensive setup there, and it'll take some adapting from some Splyce in order to deal with that and make sure they get onto the site, as we'll see in the coming rounds. So once again, we're going to see this play out of Crim 6 where he probably gets the timing a little bit wrong in terms of watching the flank. He does get bailed out, as you can see, by none other than Dashy in this round though. So they head over towards B on their offensive side. You got accuracy just trying to peek this, get some information, and see this flank coming into effect already. Number 7, all these guys on Splyce are already on the flank, and now Crim 6 is going over to this back alley to hold this position. If those guys decided to go back alley, he would have to take the gunfight much earlier, and not an ideal scenario with the ICR. But as it is, he gives up this potential flank to mid. Dashy is very alert to it, and Dashy gets a two-piece that he has no business winning at all. Only loses 100 HP in those couple of engagements, and he single-handedly won them the round with that clutch right there. Looney deals with Crim 6 as well, and yeah, Karma ends up getting a nice little two-piece to close out the round. But that two-piece from Dashy definitely swung the tide in that round. Once again, I think that little bit of a misplay there on the side of OpTic Gaming. Dashy, if he didn't get that two-piece, Crim 6 was in no vicinity to trade, put it that way. Okay, so Looney's been having a quality game so far. He has his TAC 5. He has that 200 HP boost that he's about to pull out here, and you'll see how Splyce use it to fantastic effect. They need to get back in this game. OpTic are up 3-2, and they're going to head over towards this A site. This is exactly what you do with that 200 HP. You leg it in, you take the gunfights at first hand, and Scump and TJ really have no chance here. Jerd, obviously, with his godlike movement, takes down 2, and at this point, OpTic have already lost the round. This is exactly how you play a 200 HP scenario. Very strong specialist indeed, the fact you can get it so quickly. And Karma here makes a very intelligent decision. Let's just hop off the map in this scenario because there's no chance you're winning the round. You don't want to give him the plant or anything like that because Looney's the guy with the bomb. He gets that bomb down. He gets relatively close to even getting another TAC 5 because when you call in the TAC 5, you get a fair amount of points towards your streaks as well. And, they won that round pretty convincingly. You'll see this nice two-piece from Jerd here. That's exactly how you play the 200 HP rounds, and we'll see later on in this game how Splyce had another opportunity to do a similar thing, but they turned down the opportunity, so we'll have a look through that as we go forwards in the video. Now let's have a look at this A retake situation that Splyce pull out here. So, once again, similar to the OpTic Gaming strategy of earlier, accuracy deals with Crim 6 in middle. Fantastic mid setup again from OpTic. I love the fact that they have that one guy in Looney down towards B there. So if it is B, they can support him, they can look over the top of him, and they're playing this A retake. Jerd shoots Accra in the back, and okay, they allow this bomb to go down, playing it a little bit carefully, and this is the stun from Looney that really makes the deal. He stuns out onto that platform, and all the guys in OpTic Gaming are absolutely screwed. Looney gets a nice three-piece, and that's the quickest retake. So once again, I don't really think we see it at all in this game when an offensive team who plants A has much success. It's a really difficult bomb site to hold down unless, there's few people on the map, because that retake can come in from so many different scenarios. A site is a very difficult bomb to hold unless you can somehow get that bomb down and then back up towards that cylinder area, as we've seen a couple of people attempt, but really hasn't worked to too much success. I think teams need to adapt their A setup to some extent as how they push this. That was a 3v4 in that scenario, so a difficult one for OpTic Gaming to hold on to, but even in the 5v5s, you seem to see that the defense have some advantage there, and you can see that Looney pulls out this stun grenade at the perfect opportunity, deals with Crimsix, and then, these guys are just stunned in the corner. That's one of the things that TacMask doesn't really, you can have it, but you still get stunned for a couple of seconds there, and that was easily enough for Splyce to end up taking that round. So what we're going to see here is we're going to see a mid setup from OpTic Gaming, and they give up B, and I don't think this is to their benefit here, because Splyce have a disadvantage in this round, but they still come out on top, as you'll see. So Karma goes over towards this B site, OpTic head over fundamentally towards the A side of the map, and Splyce are playing a pretty slow setup. I like this idea from Splyce. You've got Aqua in this window, and then you've got Accuracy with the ICR just to his left, holding off all potential flanks through A. Jerd gets caught out by some really nice shots from Karma on that head glitch. So, okay, Jerd gets first blooded, and it's looking really difficult for Splyce here. But look at the play from Karma. He wraps back towards mid. He's in underground, effectively watching the B cross. Which, okay, it seems like a reasonable setup, but you see how Looney is allowed to get onto the B bomb right here, and he just gets this plant down. And Karma cannot try and push. You see him on the menu up there. He's trying to deal with this plant to some extent, but all his teammates are not necessarily out of position, but they're getting distracted by Aqua and co. And Looney's just trying to get this plant to get his streaks. You see in the top right, he gets all those full streaks, and the trades come in here from Looney. So now he's got full streaks, a 2 versus 3, and Aqua wins a couple of fantastic gunfights here, especially on TJ. Gets traded out into a 1v1 against, between Looney and Scum. So this was a 2v4, I think, and Splyce get it down to a 1v1, and this is almost impossible to Scum to try and win. The Hellstorm missile comes in. I love this play from Looney as well. He calls in this Hellstorm and he slows it down. You guys might not be aware of this, but it's always been a possibility, I think, or at least it was in Black Ops 3. And now with 12 seconds left, there's no chance Scum's going to be able to get on the bomb. He's on the other side of the map just trying to look for Looney and their spawn. And yeah, the bomb's all but over. So this is how B is a much easier bomb to try and hold on to than that A bomb. You end up being a trade there, but even if Looney didn't have those streaks, that should have been an easy round, because you could go to exactly where he went, peek it very easily from the high ground, and you don't even have to worry about pepper a couple of bullets in. It's not as hard as A to hold on. You see this 2-piece from Aqua here that really won them the round, but I definitely think that decision from OpTic to give up that B side of the map was to their detriment, especially because if they'd paid really close attention, they should probably have known that Looney was close to streaks. He's the guy that carries the bomb, and yeah, so we'll look into this round now. This is a very, very interesting one indeed. Splyce could arguably have closed it out right here. Looney calls in his drone squad a little bit prematurely, and we'll see this example of what I would call sunk costs in this game, where you invest a lot into the round, and therefore you want to invest even more and even more to do your best to win it. And that's what you'll see here. So OpTic head over towards this B bomb site. They pop that 200 HP. Looney's drone squad, it goes, doesn't see anything. Aqua here, they know it's B, and Looney decides to call in his lightning strike. He gets one with it, he kills Temp as well. Aqua tries to go for the trade onto Scump, but that 200 HP is not going to come into full effect. So now it's a 3 versus 3. You know the OpTic have popped that 200 HP. On the side of Splyce, you know you've already got it. Looney's got it, you can see in the top right. He can potentially call it in now. But he goes for it, and I definitely think it's not the best decision. Yes, he used a drone squad. Yes, he used a lightning strike. But if you just save that 200 HP for your next offense, do exactly the same strat you did first time around, you've got a much better chance of winning the round. Because he pops it here. The chances of winning are now like 50-50, where they were like, in this round, they're probably right now about 35% or something like that, given the 200 HP, maybe 40%. But if you save that 200 HP and you pop it in the next round or so, you're going to have a much higher chance of closing out this game. But he pops it right here. The trades, the trades come in, Scum ends up getting taken out, and Jerd drops down to 175 HP, as you can see. And yeah, so now it's a 2 versus 2 in this scenario, and they're trying to find each other. It's a really complex round. They manage to get together, and they work themselves around the map. Dashy makes a really nice play to try and get away from Looney's drone squad. Makes that almost completely redundant, and OpTic end up going on to win this round. So you see 200 HP on Looney, 175 HP on Jerd, and yeah, maybe they didn't really know the bomb was down where it was. Dashy manages to make his way around all the way through the map here, and once again, this round comes down to the fact that Splyce give up this B bomb site. They allow OpTic to get the bomb down. Looney was incredibly close to stopping Crimsix here. If Crimsix hadn't have had 200 HP, maybe he would have got it down. And Jerd comes to challenge Dashy here, and this is where Dashy in the next couple of rounds just goes off completely. He gets a really nice timing here on Jerd to win the round and take it to 5-4. And at this point I was like, wow, this is when OpTic make the comeback. We've already seen it in the tournament in other ones, and we were going to see it in map 4 of this tournament, which I already covered a couple of weeks ago. And yeah, so Dashy gets a nice 2-piece here. Crimsix, if he doesn't get that bomb down, then the round probably goes in favour of Splyce, but Dashy of course catches a very nice timing on Jerd, wins the round, and definitely a misplay I think out of the side of Splyce to pop that 200 HP. Even though they'd invested a lot of things already, the fact that they invested that in addition was definitely a questionable play for me. So now it's 5-4. We'll see what OpTic do to try and win this round, and you'll see how Dashy once again comes up clutch. Aqua does still have that Tempest. They didn't fully invest that. We also do have some War Machines on Temp, and in addition to TJ Halley, as we'll see in just a second. So TJ is the guy spotting towards A here, and Splyce are going to play towards this mid setup. So Temp runs out mid. He's going to be able to deal with Crimson. He's going to be able to deal with Karma in this window here. So in this room, Temp's going to be able to take out Karma. Very close gunfight. And now TJ comes into play with a War Machine of his own. So definitely a back and forth specialist battle at this point. He gets a nice 2-piece with it, and Jerd somehow wins this gunfight. This is the power of Flak Jacket, really. You eat 2 War Machine bullets. Now it's down to a 3v3, and this is where Dashy goes nuclear. Somehow stays alive to get that 2-piece. Aqua does trade out 1, but at this point he really doesn't have much opportunity, especially someone as experienced in SnD as Dashy and Crimsix are. He's not going to have much of a chance to win this round, but anyway, hops up here and Dashy deals them in as well. So Dashy, man, that 3-piece to get them to round 11, or that 3k in the round, you could say, just phenomenal. And round 11, baby, this is where OpTic, if they win this, they manage to tie up the series, and this is what happens in round 11. So a really interesting scenario here. OpTic, I think, make a bit of a mistake, because look at the setup they go for. They go for this 5-man A push. It's round 11. You should look at the scoreboard, know what specialists your opponents are using, and figure out which ones they could potentially have. You know that you've seen the TAC-5 recently, so I can't have that. You know that you've seen the War Machine, but you know that Jerd is using the Grab Slam, and he must assume to be having it at this point. You can look at the scoreboard, you can see that he's probably above Karma, which means that he likely has it and Karma doesn't. And this is where Jerd just comes over towards this A point, he peeks it, he gets some information, he gets kind of lucky not to die so immediately there, but he gets a 2-piece. And this is where Splyce really make a fantastic play. Dashy pulls out this Tempest. As soon as he fires that shot into accuracy, you can see that Splyce kind of coil up towards their spawn. They play it super passive because this Tempest does not last that long. You can see in the bottom of your screen here, on the bottom right at least, that Tempest decays really quickly when you don't have too much of an opportunity to shoot with it. And you see how Splyce plays super passive. Dashy doesn't have the opportunity to do anything with this Tempest. It already goes away, and now it's Aqua's turn to pull it out. And you can see how all 3 of these guys are stacked over towards this like circular cylinder thing, and bam, they get done by the Tempest. They're down on their asses, and yeah, all the guys push them. Aqua misses the first shot but doesn't miss the second one, and Splyce end up taking that map 6-5. At that point, a lot of people were thinking, damn, this series is over. OpTic struggling to clutch up at that point, but wow, I think that's a really instructive game of Search and Destroy. You can see how difficult the A-bomb site is to hold on to, and how important the B-bomb site is. That's why you kind of have that lower ground disadvantage for the attackers, because it's a stronger bomb site to hold on to. Also see some mistakes, I think, holding the flank in certain scenarios, and in that last round especially, the fact that OpTic Gaming weren't aware maybe that Jerd had that ability, that he was about to pop on them. Maybe they got a little bit confident that they won the last 2 rounds. It's going to be, the momentum was on their side. So Splyce ended up shutting it down, but of course you know what happened in the rest of the series. The reverse sweep came in from OpTic Gaming. A very interesting one. I did break down map 4 of this series a couple of weeks ago. If you're interested in that, I'll link it down below. So like if you guys enjoyed, subscribe if you're new. Longer video today, I think, but regardless, hope you guys enjoyed anyway. Thank you guys so much for watching as always, and I'll see you next time.